Hello, dear friends. Welcome. Welcome to our Monday night session here in Richmond, Virginia. It's always a pleasure and an honor to be with you today. So, my name is Shane Martin. I'm broadcasting to you from the Spiritist Society of Richmond here in Richmond, Virginia. And every Monday at 8 p.m., I am joined with a group of wonderful workers here of Spiritists in Richmond, and we discuss various topics in the spirit about the Spiritist doctrine. And we always make an effort to bring the Spiritist doctrine into our daily lives. So today we're going to talk about Spiritism in our daily lives, and I'm going to bring in my friends and colleagues, Eric and Evelyn. Hello, Evelyn. Hello, Eric.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, you are distributed here. Thank you so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure to have you with us today, with me, with our viewers as well. If you're joining us live, welcome. Write your comments and questions. If you're joining us also later on demand on YouTube or Facebook, please always write your comments, send us your questions, and we are able to answer
Shane,
them.
your microphone is better now, but it was lower before. I
Okay,
don't know
so
if you changed.
no,
Just
I
saying.
have not. All right. How's that now? Is it any better?
Yes.
Louder. Okay, good. So just got it closer to me. All right. Let me just adjust here. Yeah. As the world evolves, we evolve in our technology. I'll make the microphone be closer to me. So as always, we will start with a message from the book Happy Life, and Eric is gonna read the message for us. So I'm gonna put him in the solo mode here.
In a 24-hour day, set aside a few moments for reflection. Bound to the hands of the clock, either way ahead of time or far behind, people get overwhelmed and lose direction. Success demands periodic reassessment of one's goals and actions. Reflection allows you to identify mistakes and correct them in time, to reformulate your responsibilities and renew yourself more easily. Speak and sleep a little less. Meditate a little more. If you use wasted minutes in order to meditate, they will become points of light during your day.
Thank you. I'm gonna bring everybody back in. All right, dear friends. As you already know, I'm going to repeat, have a little bit of water with you at all times when you're meeting with the purpose of spreading the good news of Jesus and doing the good works. And I will do our initial prayer for us here with Eric and Evelyn. And when we do our initial prayers or final prayers or any prayers for that matter, in Spiritism, we know we don't have really rituals that we have to follow, but we have some recommendations from the spirits that can be found in the Gospel according to Spiritism, the last two chapters. So we always recommend that folks close their eyes just to eliminate a little bit of the visual distractions that we have all over us, as being humans and relying on our sight a lot, and also for us to focus, inward. And mentally, you repeat the words of the prayer of whoever is praying. And of course, as always, you can pray anywhere, at any time, doing whatever. But we just like when we take these moments to be together to pray. Shall we? Dear Mother, Father God, we thank you today for the blessings that we have, for the opportunity of being together, for this beautiful planet Earth that has received us in this reincarnation, for the beauty of spring and for the beauty of fall, for the days and the nights we are granted towards working, fulfilling your will for us in this lifetime. Dear Lord, tonight we pray that we are inspired by the good spirits, that we may be of service to them, that these moments of reflection be showers of healing light reaching the depths of our souls and our spiritual bodies. May your consoling message reach all points of darkness, of suffering on the earth. We pray for the good spirits to help the discarnate friends that have joined us. We pray especially for those who are sick in hospitals, those who have recently discarnated. May showers of light, of love and grace reach each and every one of us, soothing our pains, consoling our hearts, giving us strength to undergo the vicissitudes of life. Please guide us, inspire us, and with your permission, we begin our studies today, and so be it. All right, dear friends, I'm going to go over a few topics of how Spiritism is applying, how can we apply Spiritism to our daily lives, and I'll be bringing you periodically for us to have comments and questions, okay?
Okay.
Sure, I can. All right, dear friends, if you're joining me, I can see some of you live here. Welcome right to us. I'm able to see that you're live, but I'm unable to see who you are. So if you'd like us to say hi specifically to you, please write a comment. And inspired by the good spirits that we were today putting this together, we always think of ourselves as spiritists. But before we can talk about how Spiritism applies to our lives, we need to talk a little bit about what is Spiritism, what are its principles, and how it can help me. There will be, of course, many questions and many different topics we could address today, and we chose a couple of them to talk about, because we can't really apply something to our lives if we don't know what that is. So here's a flash course on Spiritism. Spiritism is a philosophy, religion, and a science codified by the gentleman here that you see. His name is Allan Kardec. His pseudonym is Allan Kardec. Hippolyte Léon Denisard Rivail. Of course, I'm going to butcher that French. Hi, Jose. Hello. Thank you for being with us. Many blessings to you as well. We always miss you, and we're looking forward to the opportunity when we can gather together in person. But now that's what we have. So if you are loved through the means of the technology we are blessed to have in this pandemic. And here is his wife, Amelie. And the Spiritist principles pretty much were codified by Kardec. So the good spirits communicating through the different mediums provided Kardec there's a wealth of information that boils down to the 5 books that you see here at the bottom. So those are 5 books of the codification: the Spirit's book, the Medium's book, Heaven and Hell book, Gospel, and Genesis. Of course, there's more. There are many volumes of the Spiritist magazine on the times of Kardec. There's What is Spiritism? Spiritism in its simpler expression, and many posthumous works. So there's a lot to know, and we're just gonna brush it and lightly through it. But mainly we're talking about God. We'll talk about God a little bit. The immortality of the soul, the concept of reincarnation, the communicability of spirits, multitude of inhabited planets, free will, the action and reaction, and Jesus is our guiding model. And did you know that Spiritism also brings to us moral laws? So the physical laws, as Kardec explains in the part 3 of the Spirit's book, was left for us to study. The scientist studies the physical laws and brings to us different things like gravity. You don't need necessarily to know what gravity is or even believe in gravity, but that doesn't mean gravity stops working. So if you fall off a ladder, it will go down to the ground, because that's how gravity works. In Spiritism, we have moral laws. Here you have all the laws listed. I encourage you to take a look at them in the 3rd part of the Spirit's book. So that is pretty much all the principles of Spiritism that we're going to address today. And we're going to address them today in the concept of our being immersed in our lives. So let's talk about, because Spiritism is a reasoned faith. So Kardec always encourage conversation and discussions, and we should not accept something just because it comes from the spirits. We really need to make sure it makes sense, right? So here's you in the middle of this picture here as an immortal soul. So your spirit, who is immortal, was created by God, simple and ignorant, and is here today in the way of perfection. So you have certain dimensions in our lives. So how do we apply those spiritist principles that I showed you into your dimensions? Here are some of the dimensions I've worked. Of course, you are soul, your spirit that has a physical body and a spiritual body. And then you have a family time, you have work spheres, you have the earth and the animals and the plants that surround us, service. So there's a dimension of the human being that has to do with service, their presence in the community and how the community relates to you, learning and knowledge. Now we're doing exactly that right now. We are learning, we're improving ourselves through knowledge. We have health and nutrition and spirituality. So those are some of the dimensions that I'm going to bring to you today for reflection, of course, so that we can work together how those teachings applies to those dimensions. So let's talk about spirituality first. So spirituality is just your connection with the divine, your connection with the higher spirits, how you are working on the dimension that is the opposite of materialism, right? Spirituality is the moments of reflection, the moments that we are praying, the moments that we are meditating. So here in the concept, in the realm of spirituality, we have God. In Spiritism, the definition of God is the supreme intelligence, the first cause of all things in the universe. So God is the creator. So we are creatures and God is the creator. So how is the presence of the supreme intelligence that is designing and creating and doing all the beautiful works around us apply to our lives, right? Because God created the universe and everything that is seen and unseen to us, because we have limitations on what we can describe with our physical laws and our physical equipment. And then we have that God has created the universal cosmic fluid, and you and I breathe in the breath of the creator, which is the universal cosmic fluid. So everything that you see, touch, and everything that you don't see is a result of a modification of the cosmic fluid. So we are immersed in the God's love and God's creation, and we are working with our intelligence to modify that principle into everything that you see. So that means that also within the realm of spirituality, we have the law of worship. The law of worship is a law in the third part of the Spirit's book that deals with our duty to pray, for our duty to worship the Creator and thank the Creator for everything that God has done for us. And then we have prayer. Prayers that act in Spiritism. Prayer is defined as the act of directing your thought to a an object, in a sense. You will direct your thought. The thought will travel throughout the universe with like thoughts, and you will reach the object of your prayer. And I say the object, it could be someone, it could be something, it could be the animals, the earth, the universe, a friend of yours, or your family. So it's important for us to think about how we are applying those teachings and how do I go my daily lives nourishing and nurturing this sense of spirituality, where you are spending time to connect with God, because God has loved you from the moment of creation, from the moment you were a spiritual principle, um, doing the internship in the different kingdoms, to the moment God you were created as a human spirit throughout this incarnation. So God loves you today as much as God has loved you in the past, and as much as God is loving you in your future self, because God is has projected that you and I will be superior spirits. So it's important for us to consider this realm of spirituality as we go fulfilling our physical duties of being in the world, being of the world, but not in the world, but not of the world, where you are going about our daily lives, fulfilling the needs of the body, the needs of the family. But how are we with that creator? That was one part of one dimension that we can talk about. The other dimension we can talk about is family. So I focus on a couple of them because family is where we are now spending most of our time. A lot of us are still under quarantine. Some places have eased. Some places have lockdown again. So there's a whole range of types of families and how families are structured and how we end up in a family. So in the realm of family, we have the Love Society that is described again on the Spirit's book. We have the role of parenthood and the mission of parenthood as being bringing that soul closer to God. That is in the gospel according to Spiritism. And in the concept of reincarnation, some of the concepts of Spiritism here, of course, there's more. Because within family, we also can talk about the love society. We could talk about the love work, and many others. And then we have, the law society, parenthood, and reincarnation intertwined because when you are received in a family, you're granted the opportunity by God. You plan with the good spirits, hopefully. Sometimes the good spirits plan for us because we are unable to participate on that plan based on our previous actions. And then you reincarnate. So the concept of reincarnation is that we turn to the physical body for learning, for evolution, for addressing past mistakes. And of course, you are embedded in a family dynamic, regardless if you are now embedded in your family or not, if you knew your family or not, you still were born within a context. And the law of society is a broader law that talks about, because each one of us will be in a home, in a family, and the Jesus in the home book, Jesus tells disciples that home is the first school for the souls. So the society is really a reflection of the sum of all the families around us. So when we're talking about family, how we interact with our family members, how important it is that we make an effort to get along, make an effort to love one another. And of course, nobody has the um, pretension of addressing everything and loving one another overnight, but it's a process. Nothing in nature happens overnight, so we can't expect ourselves tomorrow to wake up with wings and fly away, volatilate away as a superior spirit. Of course, that's no superior spirit has wings, but there's just a metaphor and an image for you. Community. This is an important point. Remember, you here in the center with all of your dimensions. So this is us. So you are individual, you have your free will, you're reincarnated, you have a physical body. Your spirit commands a physical body through your parent spirit. If you go about life with your dimensions that are some that I return, you can name them, whichever dimensions you want to work on. Now think about you relating to the other spirits around you, because then you're talking about a community, you're talking about a family circle, you're talking about work. Now I'm expanding the concept of community to encompass not only our loved ones, blood ties, but also the spiritual ties. So we have a family in the physical realm, we have family in the spiritual realm. So in the physical realm and the spiritual realm. So I hear that I have I shouldn't have because I have no other mic going on. You guys have. Let me know if it gets better, friends. Did it get any better? Got worse? Got a little. Okay, so we are live. Mic sounds it's interesting, right? Because this is really might be a bandwidth kind of thing, because we are really in the realm of technology. This is the same mic I've used ever since we started this program, and the first time I have any problems. I'm gonna make it get very close to me. So let me know if it makes any better. Okay. So here you are in community. And in community, you are interacting with those individuals. So they have their own realms, or they're working on improving. They have their own family members, they have their own dramas, they have their own problems. And now we're all interacting. And here I represented somewhat a physical community, however, not really a spiritual community, because we can think about for each one of us, we have our personal trainer for the soul, which is our guardian angels. Not only to talk about our familial friends, our and spirits that are around us that are also enjoying whatever we are doing at the time. So if each and every person had at least one spirit with them, all right. So let me see if I made the screen alone. Hello, dear friends. We are here live with you in Richmond, Virginia. For some reason today, we're having a lot of issues with hearing me. So I see a few of you live. Let me add myself to the stream. Fortunately, I've done everything that I can, and I apologize. It's all possible that I will have to record and put it back online later. So I will do my best. I'll probably hear me type though. Hello, Valeria. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're doing well out there in the eastern shore of Virginia. We're looking forward to joining you. We're looking forward to joining you in the on 28th. As you can see me here, I am just going to do myself a favor. I am going to bring my friends Eric and Evelyn back in here for them to talk a little bit about the things that I've addressed before. And then maybe in the meantime, hello, Eric. I will remove myself and I will fix my microphone. I'll be right back. So, what about you guys? Briefly discuss how you see the Spiritist principles applied either in family or spirituality or community.
Your mic is very good right now.
Yeah, it's normal now.
This is really, we are live here from Richmond, and of course the whole world is live, and there are issues, and I have thought that would be better to have them muted, because sometimes being unmuted is what gives you the echo, the reverberation, and bringing them back. So you're gonna stay there. I'm just gonna look there. I'm gonna mute you, but I will, if it gets worse, I will unmute you. Okay, never mind. Okay, I can hear now. So what about we discuss? Well, we stopped anyway. So what about we put it back here? So what about God, spirituality, and family? How can we apply the Spiritist teaching? These ones you see on screen or other ones to our lives? As you've seen, I've tried.
Well, the way the principles I view get applied to me in my life is it gives me motivation and it gives me patience. It gives me motivation to practice and seek peace and love and charity and justice, to focus on all of those. But it also gives me the patience to know that not everything is going to happen in this incarnation. So it both motivates me to take action, to better myself, to live my life the best I can, but also the acceptance of God's justice, and some things are up to God's timing.
Yeah, I think that's very well put. I think it helps with resignation and hope, and like say it, spirituality is related with prayer, and I find it very comforting, even in those times that we are either anxious or sad. Setting aside some time to pray usually brings back some peace and some calmness. Help us have some perspective with difficult situations and difficult relationships.
And in those difficult situations, it's a reminder to me, the Spiritism principles, to try to do the best I can and try to be the best I can.
All right. And it's
That's true.
interesting because no, I mean, a lot of different religions, right, bring us these topics. They talk about, honor your father, your mother, do this, be good to the community. But I think what brings the concept of reincarnation, the concept that you come back with the same folks, you're supposed to learn something from them. It's really it doesn't erase the suffering. It doesn't make it any necessarily easier. It doesn't make them be nicer to you. It doesn't make you be nicer to them. They don't go away. If something annoys you, it stays. It doesn't automatically make you like one another, and enjoy one another. But at least it keeps that reminder of there's a reason for this, even though I might not be able to remember the reason.
Right. And we are aware that we are not perfect, right? If we thought that this is just one life, we should be perfect and everything should, work. And I don't know. But as we are reminded that we have many lives and we've had many in the past, we're going to have more in the future. This is a growing process. We are here to learn, and, it is okay to make mistakes, learn from them, and then improve, right? That's the goal. We're not going to be perfect in this life. We're just trying to aim to be better and know more about ourselves and love more each other.
And better a little bit every day, right? We have think about too, we have had thousands and thousands of reincarnations here on earth, elsewhere, who knows. And then we've created habits that transcend millennia. And habits are hard to build, and it's hard to modify them. So if you have something that annoys you, something that you don't like on yourself, it's really hard. You have to like work on it every day. Just like if you wanted to learn a new language, if you wanted to work out, you have to create that habit, the healthy habit, as we go. All right, so I think we are fixed and good to go. I'm going to keep you live here. I'll keep you on the side here. This seems to give me better luck with my microphone. And I'll talk about community. All right, so community, we kind of touched into the community and you in relationship with others. I want to emphasize that we have a community in the physical realm and a community in the spiritual realm, because sometimes we might be doing things, feeling things, seeing things that might not be visible to others, and sometimes we can't explain because they could be coming from those who are attached to us because of the habits we have, the things we think, the things we watch, the things we eat, the things we drink. So that is the interaction, and it makes sense that each and every person who is in community, right? They have their own issues to work on. So within the realm of community, we can apply the law of society, the law of work, of the law of labor. We're supposed to work, we're supposed to use our intelligence for the betterment of everything. But the concept of labor or work in spiritism is any and every useful activity. So if you're praying for someone, that's considered work. If you're caring for your loved ones, that's considered work. It's not necessarily the same concept of work that we have in the physical realm. The law of progress. So as you improve, as someone else improves, the collective improves, the earth improves, because we have the progress in the multitude of planets. The planets improve as we improve. Think about earth 200,000 years ago was much more different than the earth today. We have much, much more. Even within 100 years from the Spanish flu pandemic to now, can you imagine? We have all these blessings. We have the internet, we can talk and meet, we have better medical technology. So we are always progressing in all realms. And the law of justice, love, and charity, which is the last law, but is one of the most important, because love is what the glue of the universe. The love is what really going to propel us forward, and charity is the way to salvation. So there is no um, salvation without charity, and charity is serving one another is how we're gonna move forward. I wanted to talk a little bit about health and nutrition because we want to talk about ourselves as in the concept of spiritism as being a spirit, a perispirit, and a physical body. So you and I who are here interacting with Facebook, and unless you're a medium, you can see much more of the spirits around us. So you are the only difference between you and a discarnate friend of yours next to you is that you have a physical body. As having a physical body in the spirits book, you're gonna find that the physical body is the instrument that you need to use wisely in order to progress during this reincarnation. So you need to take care of your physical body. That doesn't mean you're going to take care only of the physical body, but you need to have medical help. You need to be able to care for your medical help. We already talked about having better health. Nutrition is very important. So, what we put in into our bodies in terms of what we drink, what we eat, how much exercise we get. So, we have this built in machine with everything that we need to progress, and we're given that machine for God because neither you and I created the elements to make the physical body that we have. Now our spirits, mind, act upon the perispirit that act on the physical molecules that created the physical body to shape it and mold it as a mirror of the perispirit. But you and I didn't create the carbon, the hydrogen, and the oxygen molecules that compose our nitrogen molecules that compose our body. That's given to us by God. The superior spirits are the ones who can modify the cosmic fluid in that way. So we need to bless the body and take care of the body. So within you, you have the law of preservation. Because what I'm saying within you, because in the third part of the Spirit's book, Kardec asks the spirits, and the spirits tell us the laws are written in your conscience. So inside of yourself, you have that built in. And every now and then, the prophets and the folks like Kardec and the enlightened spirits incarnate to remind us of those laws. So the law of preservation, the third part of the Spirit's book, will remind us that we have this inbuilt system that is asking us to preserve ourselves, to fight for life, to be alive. And then remember, you are given a certain number of days, years to be here and fulfill a mission, fulfill your plan. That plan, we should strive to use all those hours and all those years to the maximum extent we can, like we read in the beginning, giving some moments of reflection, being able to connect with spirituality, eating well, exercising. If we feel ill, finding a way to get taking care of the physical health. So in Spiritism, we really talk about a multi-dimensional being. It's neither you just take care of the body and go bodybuild the whole day. You need to stay on a hut praying the whole day and work on spirituality. You really work on the physical body, the spiritual body, your psychological health. You want to talk to someone about guilt and remorse because those are things that attach us to the spirits who are still stagnated. Those are things that slowly cause illnesses on us and can unleash illnesses. And we'll talk next week about spirituality and health, specifically about health in these moments of the pandemic where we are reevaluating our goals. And then you exercise, you go see a physician, so on and so forth. Another dimension I wanted to bring to us is spirit's influence in our lives, because this is more in the dimension of community, of being together and influencing one another. So, two examples here, one good, one not so good. In Spiritism, we believe, as you can see here on this um, upper panel, we have an example from the book The Messengers from André Luiz through Chico Xavier. And then here you see Isabel and her children doing the gospel at home, being inspired by the good spirits. Here you have the mentor of the meeting here guiding her. And you have her former husband in the spiritual realm. He's able to come and she perceives his presence and he can counsel the family. And some familiar spirits, some friends, and you have the spirits here that are receiving the help. So everybody is there together. Even if you think you're by yourself reading a book and praying, the good spirits will be there with you. They will inspire you when you're wavering. They will inspire you. They will inspire you when you're suffering. They will inspire you when you pray and you need to make a decision and you're trying to figure out what to do. They are there. They can help us. Here you have in the book Life Goes On, Evelyn, from the book, not this one that we have here, maybe, who knows. But we have, she's inspired her mom, Bridget, to help Miriam, who is pregnant of from a kid, and I forgot the name of the gentleman, but it's related to the family. So Evelyn inspiring the mom to adopt that child once the child is born. And we also have here the same characters, Evelyn and Ernesto, traveling with their family members from when they were incarnated. So Evelyn and Ernest are discarnated, and these two, the couple here is incarnated. So they travel with them from the countryside to the beach where they're going to spend the weekend. So just like when you and I are driving, when you and I are eating, when you and I are doing an activity, we have a choice to make, that conscious choice of praying before doing something for inspiration. When you we do all of us do driving to some extent, or take public transit, then we can think about who is with me in the car. May, or you can say a prayer before you leave your house and pray for the good spirits to be with you. Make sure you don't go on road rage and pick up the bad spirits as you go, because they're there waiting for us to have that um, behavior where we're not so nice, and they hop in the car with us and we are angry for the rest of the day. So they're there, they're communicating through mediums, they are inspiring us through inspiration if you're not an ostensive medium, and they can be in every aspect of our lives. And we also have spirits in our social lives. The same way here, I'm showing from the book In the Realms of Mediumship from Andrea Louise. Andrea Louise is studying some people who are at the bar, and people think going to bars is really benign, but really everybody in the bar has some entity attached to them, where this person is smoking, these people are drinking, and the entities, which in the book are called vampire spirits, they are living, breathing that vital energy, the vitality of the folks, those noxious substance we don't see yet in science, but they are being emanating from us when people consume alcohol and cigarettes and other illicit drugs these days. So we have to think very carefully where we're going, with whom we're going, and then how we feel in all those places, and make the right choices. That doesn't mean we're not going to hang out with our friends, but there are activities that we can choose that are better than this. So let's aim for this kind of spirit influence in our lives and companionship. Whatever your thought is, so is your life. Here you have loss of loved ones. And I brought this one up because with COVID, a lot of folks are discarnating. And before COVID, people were discarnating. And after COVID, people are going to discarnate, because we've done some in depth research. Life has 100% mortality. So we're all going to die at some point. It's not a matter of when, if, it's a matter of when. So between now and there, when we're going to be discarnated, we really want to think about what I do today is going to determine where I am. So when you have this beautiful concept of immortality of the soul, so you just a transition from one state to another state. Now what we have is, if you know someone who has lost a loved one, or you yourself lose a loved one, you know that they didn't die. Their physical body ceased to exist, ceased to be able to sustain life. But their spirit and perispiritual body can go to the spiritual realm, be accepted into hospitals, be in the presence of nurses and therapists, receive spiritual treatment, surgeries, and so on. And they can, once they are stable, they might be granted the opportunity to come back and talk to us. Again, communicability of spirits. Of course, that doesn't make it easy to lose a loved one. Absolutely, that's not what I'm saying. But it is gives you consolation that after this moment of pain passes, you can pray. And now you know what to pray for. You pray that they are accepted in the spiritual realm. You pray that their guardian angels can receive them. You pray that, because every time you pray, go to the book No Solar. Every time you pray, when Andrea Luis is in the chambers of the chambers helping the newly arrived spirits, every time someone prays, if the spirit is there receiving treatment, there's a little screen, and the person appears on the screen, and that soothing vibration can help the recovering spirit in the spiritual realm. So of course people might be desperate, it might be sad when you lose someone, but then if you pray for them, they can feel that good vibration. It will help on their aiding of their recuperation in the spiritual realm. And then later, if God allows and they are stable enough, just like in the book Life Goes On, Evelyn and Ernest stay 2 years in the spiritual realm. They study, they learn about themselves, they understand the processes, and they are granted the opportunity to come back. Their loved ones don't perceive their presence, but if you go there and read the book, um, you can buy it on Amazon or a Fab publisher, wherever good books are sold, and you can read the book not just as a novel, but deep inside there's a lot of good lessons where the loved ones, you may not see your loved ones, you may not hear them because you may not be a medium, an extensive medium, but they will be there. They'll be there with you, walking side by side you, inspiring you, just as here Isabel is here. This is Isabel's husband depicted on this drawing here. He's there with the family. They can inspire the family to go through their trials, because imagine, these books were published in the 1940s. These are real examples with name changes. So it's hard to be a widow back then. It still is today. But imagine having 5 kids to feed and work. There's a lot of strength that the spirits can give us as they are by our side. Last but not least, I wanted to talk about Earth, planets, and animals, because as we are experiencing COVID, we have to think about our Earth here in these beautiful drawings where we are one. There's no physical barriers that can stop something like a virus like COVID. And also, we have to think about we as spiritual principles doing our internship in the different kingdoms, all the way to becoming a spirit, a human in the human kingdom. And then through the different levels of humans, right? We are a mix. We're not totally good, we're not totally bad. We live on the earth, which is a planet of trials and expiations, moving towards regeneration in the future. Again, there's no date that's going to drop. We're going to become all good spirits all of a sudden, but this is a renewal of the ones that are alive here, a renewal with people discarnating, a renewal with people that will reincarnate. We might be granted the opportunity to return at some point to amend, and we have to take care of the earth because the earth needs to be able to sustain life to have us back. This life or a different life, more technology, less technology, who knows? That's for the good spirits to work on. And then here we have, multitude of inhabited planets. So it could be that we were created and had, of course, we have had to have our first incarnations as simple and ignorant and primitive worlds. Think the earth and its formation, and even in caveman times, where the only primates and animals. And then we have the planets evolve, and the spiritual principles, and the human, the spirits evolve as well. So we need to always see ourselves inserted in a context where Mother Earth is giving us all the resources. So each and every day, our actions are connected to how the Earth is going to be able to sustain us over time. And we're already seeing some of the effects of our millennia of treatment of the earth, and that's on the book Messengers. Is a beautiful talk, is a gospel in the countryside. There's a chapter. If you like that specific reference, write to me, I'll give it to you. Is the good spirits take after they do the work, the gospel home at night. After the gospel home, they stay and help the spirits. During the day, they themselves, the spirits, need to rest. So they go to the spiritual realm, to the countryside. They're the animals around, they're magnetized by their presence. And the mentor of that expedition, of that work, talks about our debt to Mother Earth, our debt to the animals that are around us, our responsibility towards the plants and the animals for treating them well because they're brothers and sisters in evolution. So there's a beautiful dissertation on how to be in the earth, with the earth, and still being able to enjoy everything that you and I enjoy. All right, so I'm gonna bring back my friends' voices here. Let me move my mic. I hope. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm gonna bring them back. Hello back, you guys. How's it going? So, what about some of the things we talked about? I brought in after community. How do Spiritist teachings apply, or how do you see that you can apply the teachings within health? You pick spirit influence, losing loved ones, or taking care of the earth around us.
I think the health is very important, as you mentioned, and I think one way we can love and be charitable is to help others be healthy. If we're cooking a healthy meal for the whole family, if we're advocating for grocery stores with fresh produce available to everyone around the world, um, those are good things for us to be working on.
That's a good point. Um, I was also thinking that, the common point in Spiritism when we experience losing loved ones in this life is that it's obviously still very hard. We are still going to miss people. We love them. But it we know that, we don't die alone. We have several good spirits taking care of our spirit when we discarnate, and we're going to see each other eventually later. So this is very comforting.
And I was thinking as you guys talk about how, you know, bring in the law of society, and as a society we need to, of course, you and I want our families to have good stuff, healthy foods, healthy access. So it's important for us to be like, everybody should have it, right? So everybody uh, deserve to take care of their bodies, deserve to be able to access health care, deserves to be able to go to a grocery store and be produce. And then it kind of opens your eyes to some of the systemic problems that a world of expiation still has. There are places on the earth that everything's abundant, like the USA, but there are places on the earth there is lack of. Even within the USA, you have food deserts. That's in. Of course, I'm not by any means making a comment or a position that Kardec, if you read the Spiritist magazine, he replied to concerns of people of his time, just as Paul wrote to all his communities addressing the concerns they had at their time. So we need to use Spiritism to address the concerns we have today. So I'm not making comments that are in any way social or political, in a sense that we really need to say, how does this apply to me? So how can I make it better for everybody? Because in our first instinct is to take care of ourselves. Of course, you have to take care of yourself, because otherwise you can't take care of anybody else. But thinking, okay, I like this. How would it be if everybody had good food? What if everybody had a place to live where they could walk more, or exercise, or push their strollers or whatever? They weren't in fear. And those are things that make people uncomfortable to talk about, because it is an ongoing process that we have. And Spiritism brings to us that we're all collective. So if someone is suffering around in a place on the earth, even though I'm not there, remember, thought is life. Thought is a mental particle that we don't understand in the physical realm. Scientists don't have machines to measure our thoughts yet. But in the book Liberation, you see there is a device that they scan folks when they get to the spiritual realm. If you read the books of Andrea Luiz, the technology he describes of cell phones, of tablets, computers is already there before getting here. So at some point, we'll be able to perceive that everything is vibration. So if someone is suffering, and that suffering is traveling as a wave throughout the universe, it's going to reach us somehow. If our neighbors are suffering, we may be happy, but they may not be happy. So it goes back to, all the concepts of Spiritism are kind of intertwined. You can't talk about one without talking about the other. And
That's
then having your reincarnatory plan kind of helps you think about, okay, I have a lot. I would like to have X, Y, and Z, but then maybe, how can I make it is there other people too who need to have what I have? And I'm, sometimes it's just a word of consolation. Sometimes it's a phone call. It doesn't necessarily has to be giving alms. It's I wish I had the book here with me, Living Spring, that is talking about giving alms, giving charity. And you have this sentiment that is not just physical. No, of course you have to, if you have if you have the possibility of lessening the suffering of someone, of giving them bread, of giving them food, or giving them whatever resources they need. You need to meet the need where they are, right? Like when you go to St. Francis, we meet the needs of companionship. We may not be bringing tons of gifts and stuff, but we are there donating of our times. You're a cousin who is 7,000 miles away in Europe may not need you to send them money, or maybe they do, but they may need you to send them an Instagram, push, or a call or FaceTime where, they feel less lonely. So we kind of take care of one another that way. Any other comments, thoughts, ideas? I will expand more next week. So I'm gonna show this out of order. So let me bring the thing back in. And next week we'll be talking about spirituality and health specifically. So if you want to be prepared, go to the Spirit's book, go to Kardecpedia, kardecpedia.com. There's 4 different languages of the Spiritist. All of Kardec works for you to read. There's an app as well. And also go to the book Evolution in Two Worlds by Andrea Luiz, the last 2 chapters of part 2. If you don't have the book, it's already available for sale in English. You can also acquire it in Portuguese. Those are the 2 languages that I can remember right now. But those are the topics we're going to address: how spirituality can improve or not your health, you see. And there's also a program on Kardec Radio that goes through each chapter of the book Evolution into Worlds. I am involved, so is Vanessa Salon, so is Marco Magalhães. The 3 of us go through the entire book one day, each chapter, and then we comment on the book. We bring the Spiritist teachings into life that way. You can watch it on YouTube. You can go to kardecradio.com and go to the podcast link. That way you'll be able to hear it as a podcast on SoundCloud. You make your account and you can do it that way. So there's no lack of resources to study Spiritism right now on this earth. Thank God we're all together, and internet is a blessing. So what I'm gonna do, invite you guys to do. All right, if you join me now, I see some new faces over there. Thank you for being here. If you're watching this on demand, if you have any questions, you need any help, we're always here for you. We can pray for you, we can pray with you, we can answer your questions. Have a little bit of water with you for the spirits to magnetize and infuse it with molecules that are good for us. And I'm going to invite our friend Evelyn to pray for us as I mute Eric and I.
Hi, everyone. So, if you're ready, you're comfortable, close your eyes, take a deep breath. Dear God, guardian angels and spirit guides, thank you for allowing us to meet today. Thank you for inspiring Kardec and helping him bring all these beautiful teachings of Spiritism for us. We humbly ask you to help us learn more every day and put these teachings in practice so we can do better, we can evolve, and we can help one another in this new path. We ask that you bless and inspire or those that are going through a hard time. They have doubts, are suffering, are ill. Give them strength, hope, and faith. We thank you for our many blessings. And with your permission and your protection, we end today's meeting. So be it.
All right. See if everybody's unmuted. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you, who is watching with us. As far as I can tell, I have here dear Jose and dear Valeria. Those are the ones who disclosed their names here with us. But I see more people watching on Facebook, on YouTube. Like, I put it here, like, subscribe, share, follow, whatever the word of the time is. Make sure you share the good news. It's not because we're vain, but we want these teachings to reach all of humanity, especially in the English language, because a lot of the world can understand what we're saying. Let's bring the consolation that our Master Jesus has brought to us as our promised consoler to all the hearts that are in need. And next time, we will talk about spirituality and health. And God willing, Eric, Evelyn, and I will be here with you. We thank you for the opportunity of being together. And until next Monday. Bye, guys.
Bye. Take care.
Peace and love.